Good morning and welcome to Family Time. We here at St. Paul's really care about our families. And this week we're going to tackle one of the bigger issues that a lot of our kids are actually facing, more so even now that COVID has happened and they are venturing out into a different world than what they knew then. Many of our kids stayed home for those 3 or 4 months and haven't really been out and about that much. But now, as they start to venture out more, those feelings can rise up in them of anxiety when they see that the world is just a little bit different than what they expected it to be. Anxiety happens all around us. It's something that has been on the rise with kids. And walking through what almost feels sometimes like a battlefield with our children can be hard. It can be challenging. Anxiety is an issue that we've had before COVID. We've had it sometimes even more so now, but it's a challenge that's not going away anytime soon. So how do we help our children navigate through anxiety? Because sometimes it's really overwhelming for us as an adult, can almost imagine how much harder it would be for a child without the complex reasoning skills that we have. Our kids have access to so much more than we ever had as kids. On their phones, they look and they see so many different things that is going on in the world around them. When I was their age, we didn't have access to the world's chaos as easily. We maybe heard about it on the news if we watched the news. But today, at the click of a button, just turning on their phone, they see so much of what's going on in the world around them. They see that expectation is always there, especially if they're involved with social media. They see these happy fake lives that are not helping them to realize that they are beautiful, and just as God created them, that their identity is in them. They look outside of themselves to find their identity. When all of this comes at our children, or even us as adults sometimes, we allow that voice of anxiety to overwhelm us, and we don't know where to turn to. Often, just having someone listen is profound. I remember one time when my son was about 12 years old and he was starting to experience some anxiety in his friendships, and I was used to having two-way dialogue with him about everything. And he says, Mom, this time can you just listen? I says, well, I was just about to have a bath. If you want to sit outside the bathroom door and talk, I'll try not to say a word. So I ran the tub. I got in the tub. He sat outside the bathroom door closed, and just talked and talked and talked and talked and talked. Sometimes, especially when talking to our sons, it is easier to have them talk when we don't make them look us eye to eye. Eye to eye is often something that us as females are very comfortable with. Sometimes our guys, not quite as comfortable. You'll have a better conversation with them in a car ride, on the other side of a closed door, like me in the tub, and my son on the other side of the door talking to me. He shared more about what was actually going on in his life and what was causing him anxiety than any other time at that age. So many times anxiety has fears underneath it. It has truths that need to be uncovered. Our sons and daughters they're not mature as much as they would like to see that they are mature and to be as mature as they can be. They're still not adults. And so there's a lot of things that the truth uncovering. I remember when I was 11 or 12 and I'd first heard about robots, I wondered, does every person actually a robot and I'm the only human? Like, that's sometimes how fantastical some of our kids' thinking can be. And so it is our job to help them to understand what the truth is in different situations. Sometimes that truth just needs to be spoken out loud. Sometimes it just needs to be a little bit dug with a parent to uncover what's actually going on behind those anxious feelings. Some of those anxious feelings may not feel very valid to us, But for us to be able to take those few moments to really listen and to process what they're feeling with them can be really valuable. Ask questions and work to understand what's actually going on for them. Because sometimes it's not things that would make us anxious, but our kids are dealing with it on a whole different level than what we had ever imagined. Spending that time just listening and speaking truth in a way that they can understand, and also in a way that helps them to be able to be confident in your ability as a parent to stand with them amongst their storm. We can help our children and our teens to face anxiety instead of hiding in fear. Anxiety causes all of us to retreat from life, and it causes us to not want to interact with people because we're worried. We start to worry that the anxious feelings inside of us are going to make people not want to be around us, or that we're going to say something that might really hurt someone's feelings, and so we'll retreat. However, it's important to lead our children in taking those brave steps forward and confronting what's causing them anxiety so that they can break free and at least understand it better. Celebrate those victories. Celebrate when your child overcomes something that's caused them anxiety in the past. Let them know that what they're doing to shift their anxiety to a more positive way of thinking, a more positive way of feeling, is a really good step. The more that we practice a muscle, the easier it works. And this works with confronting our anxiety as well. Gaining that victory often includes God. It includes that saying, God, I'm not in control, you are. And I know that you care about my anxious feelings, and I just want to give them to you and say, God, I can't handle this today, and I need you to handle it. I need your love, I need your guidance. One of the Bible verses that has been really profound in our family in dealing with anxiety was, He has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Once upon a time, my daughter was a little 4-year-old, and well, maybe she's a little bit older than that, more like 6 or 7. And since the time she was 4, she had had a lot of fears. And so we had talked with her about coming against those fears with scripture. And we had taught her the scripture of, you've not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And this afternoon, she had a little girlfriend over, and her mom and I were having coffee at the table. And this little girl wanted to go downstairs to the basement and see some of our brand new kittens. But her basement was kind of dark and a little bit creepy. And so they're standing at the top of the stairs, and I can hear them talking back and forth. And the little girl who's visiting is like, oh, it's so creepy down there. I don't want to go in the basement. And my daughter looked at her and she said, God hasn't given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Let's go. It was one of those proud parenting moments where the things that I had taught her about her past anxieties was helping her now to help another child overcome her anxiety. So I know that this battle can be difficult, and sometimes it's really difficult, especially when our kids are experiencing emotions that are really big and we don't know what they're based in or how to help them. But remember that you have a God who cares about you so much. Spend time in the Word with Him so that you know how to help your child when they're facing something big, by falling to your knees and coming before your Father and saying, God, I need the right words. I need the right thing to do here, and He will guide you. Remember, if your child's anxiety is overwhelming, where they cannot handle it and you cannot handle it, to seek professional help. Lots of resources out there to help you, and if you don't know where to start, give me a phone call. God bless you. Have a wonderful week.